Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk start collecting Kings of War, and today's video, we're going to talk the Trident realms of Neritica. Now in this video, we're going to go through, talk a little bit about all the units that come inside this box set, what they do on the tabletop, and how we can build up the different models in the box set as well, before having a look at some other units we can use to expand upon this initial box set. We'll then finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 1,000 points for you to use, hopefully as some inspiration for starting your own Kings of War army of the Trident realms of Neritica. Now to start with, first of all, we get 40 Naiads, the baseline troops. These are effectively our merfolk of the Kings of War realms. Now, the Naiads can be built as either ensnarers, which are a combat-focused unit, or as the ranged heart piercers. Now to start with, first of all, the Ensnarers. They are going to have a defense of 3+, melee 4+, but they do have some extra little bonuses. Ensnaring's there as well, along with regeneration 4+, gives them some really good defensive mileage when they're taken in larger blocks. They definitely need to be taken, I think, in the larger blocks, because if you have the smaller sort of troop sizes of them, they get worn out too quickly, and they probably get taken out before they get the chance to get that regeneration or make really good use of Ensnare. Ensnare can only protect you so much. Now, the other version we have of them is going to be the Naiad Heart Piercers. They've got regeneration 4+, and they've got their harpoon guns, which are piercing one with steady aim and a range of 4+. A pretty nice ranged unit to have in the army. They are a little bit pricey, all things said, for 120 for a troop or 160 for a regiment, so you do get a good regiment discount there, though your attacks only do increase by another 2 shots if you go for that. So generally, I like to take them in the troops. Now next up we have 10 River Guard, and these models here are going to have the hand weapons and shield, which will make them excellent for representing River Guard tree leapers. They have crushing strength 1, which is pretty cool, along with ensnare, flight, nimble, and pathfinder. Flyers really cool on these guys. They effectively bound and leap over absolutely everything, and they also can take the army special upgrade, which is the poison frog. Once per game, before the unit rolls for damage and melee, you can choose to give them the brutal special rule for the remainder of the turn, though once they use this, the poison frog is used for the rest of the game and can't be used again. But being able to give them brutal on top of like crushing strength there is pretty nice. Defense 4+ with ensnare there as well for the defense is really nice as well. Can make them quite a bulky unit despite their point cost being quite cheap at 110. Now, speaking of bulky units, the other unit we have in here is a unit of Water Elementals. Defense 5+ off the bat with a melee of 4+. They have Crushing Strength 1 and Regeneration 5+, along with Strider and, of course, Shambling, as do all our Elementals. A really strong, solid unit that can protect your flanks really well. The last model we get in this box, it actually can be built as a couple of different models. It can be built as either a Naiad Centurion, a sort of standard sort of fighty hero. This has Crushing Strength 1, it's snared, and then, you know, all the things you expect from a character like individual, inspiring, mighty. It's got Pathfinder and Regeneration 4+ like all our Naiads as well. Now, the Trident of the Drowned Sea is an upgrade this model can take for 25 points, 12-inch range, piercing 1, and it'll gain the range 3+ stat. Units that suffer a point of damage from the Trident of the Drowned Sea, though, are disordered during the next turn, so a really good little utility piece. The Naiad Envoy is the other option, much cheaper at 55 compared to the 115 of the Naiad Centurion, though it is a spellcaster that comes to standard with no spells, but can take Bastion 2, which is really cool. And then you can also take the Horn of the Ocean's Fury as well, where you can gain the aura of Fury for infantry and heavy infantry only for 15 points, though you can't take any extra magical artifacts with this model if you choose to take this particular upgrade. And so, where to go to next? And the first thing we're going to want to look at with that initial box set is adding another regiment to it. Now, this could be done by upgrading our tree leapers into a regiment by getting another unit of them and making them 20 strong. Obviously, we can also do the same with the Water Elementals to access other units. And our army building, we would need to expand them to a horde of 6 models, or we could go with combining our 2 smaller troops of 9 heart piercers to a regiment to solve it that way. But for me, I really like the idea of grabbing some Thule. They are a melee 3+, defense 3+ units that has ensnare, stealthy, and wild charge D3 in them. They're a much more aggressive unit, packing out 15 attacks in their troop compared to like the 10 that a relevant troop of 9 ensnarers would do, or 20 compared to 12 if we look at the regiments. For me, I think they're a really solid, more punchy, more offensive unit we can have. Definitely not the most defensive unit in the game by any means, but a nice punch unit to have. Now, looking at something else defensive that we could bring into the force, though, is the Gigas, the crabs that we have here. Now, they have big shield, which means they're defense 6 in the front rack, which is really cool. Crushing strength 2 on them as well, along with nimble and vicious melee in there. I think they're a really solid unit. They don't pack out an awful lot of attacks with just 6 for a regiment or 12 for a horde. But, you know, as a nice defensive block, can either protect your flanks, hold your lines, really, really solid. Now, something else we could look at if we're maybe looking at something faster, though we are generally a quite fast force, with a lot of our units having speed 6 and speed 5, we do have the Oceanborn Naiad Worm Riders. Now, they have Crushing Strength 1, Nimble, Pathfinder, and Regeneration 4+, a bunch of rules you expect from your Naiads, but speed 8, you know, does give us a little bit of an increase. They're not incredibly fast, monstrous cavalry here, but they are going to pack out quite a decent amount of attacks with melee 3+, defense 4+, a solid unit all round. The last piece I want to talk about, though, is going to be Leviathan's Bane. It's a war engine available, this giant bolt thrower, and it looks pretty darn awesome too. I love the sort of fish skull head it's got on it. Now, it has a cool rule where it can actually count as ensnaring a unit when it shoots them and does some damage, which is really cool utility. And it can also be upgraded to piercing 3 with its large bolt as well. 85 points, or with all the upgrades put in, it could be 95 points. I think this is a really fun utility piece that gives us, you know, some really interesting options to play around with that not a lot of other war engines do. And so here we have our sample army list. We're 1,000 points on the nose, and I should just say the piece of artwork here for the Triad Realm of Neritica is pretty darn awesome. So the Naiad Ensnarers there are our first regiment. They're unlocking the Naiad Heartpiercers and the Naiad Envoy, who has gone for both upgrades, taking the Bastion spell and Horn of Ocean's Fury for the Fury aura around the model. We then have a regiment of Thule in there, which are unlocking the Riverguard Tree Leapers, which have got the Poison Frog upgrade. We have 5 points spare. Why not give them a little bit of extra damage? And then rounding out the force, we are going to have the unit of Water Elementals and the unit of Gigas for some nice solid flank protection. Now what this means is we can have the center of our force be the Naiad Ensnarers and the Thule, protect our flanks really well with the heavy and tough troops that are the Water Elementals and Gigas, and then have our Heartpiercers and Riverguard Tree Leapers protected as well. Now we could also choose to set the Tree Leapers up on a flank, and we could choose to play with them out there and then have our line joined with the Gigas and Water Elementals at the front with the Ensnarers, using the Thule as more of a counter-attack piece. There is a ton of different options to play around with this list and how you want to play it. I think you've got everything you need. You've got some decent range, you've got really tough troops, you've got a good heavy hitting troop, and you've got some other pieces as well. But if you've been playing with the Trident Realms of Neritica in Kings of War, let us know how you've been going, what your favourite units are, and how you'd expand with these units down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me, we have a Discord server for the channel, and that is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. This is either via Patreon or YouTube members using one of our affiliate links and codes down there, like Baron of Dice, Gap Games, or Mithras Games, or by supporting us directly on Patreon or YouTube members. If you'd like to do any of those, we have links for that all in the description. And as a special thank you to our Patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Q Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And our YouTube members: Greenridge Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, and John Castle. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Once again, everyone, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.